New drivers, new cars and a new Formula One season. But it's the same Albert Park that we've come to know and love for more than 2 decades now that hosts the first round of a 21 race championship, taking us from here in Melbourne, Australia, across the globe before we eventually reach the season finale at Yas Marina circuit in Abu Dhabi. Here's the track then, 16 corners, 6 to the left and 10 to the right. They make up the 3.3 miles around Albert Park Lake, with turn 1 and 3 providing the best opportunities to pass. We have plenty of changes to the sport this year with the addition of new safety features, the return of France and Germany in an expanded 21 race calendar and more tyre compounds than ever before. And of course, we have some big car manufacturers back in the sport too, with Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin returning as title sponsors for Sauber and Red Bull respectively. Joining me to take you through all the action of the 2018 Formula One season is Anthony Davidson. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Crofty. Always happy to be here. I'm looking forward to getting underway. Last year was Mercedes' 4th Constructors' title in a row, although for the first half of the season it was absolutely neck and neck with the Ferraris. Hopefully this year we can see the chasing pack take that final step, as I'd love to see a championship contest all the way up to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Another story to keep an eye on is the relative performance of McLaren and Toro Rosso, who have exchanged power unit suppliers this year. And given the additional restrictions on engine components, they need to be strong in terms of both performance and reliability.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo, and Hülkenberg, Alonso.
So here we are then for part number 2 of the F1 2018 Career Modes preview here on the PS4. If you did miss part number 1, by the way, guys, be sure to go check that one out. That was uploaded yesterday. There'll be an annotation in the top right there with the card, and you can go see it. We went through all the new kind of features in the game, all the kind of pre-new cutscenes and whatnot that you're going to be introduced with the Career Mode. But we're here today for the actual race, Australia. Just obviously a little bit of a prerequisite to the race. I recorded this at a UK PR event for F1 2018, so I was on a PS4 with a PS4 controller. Had limited time to record gameplay as a whole, so the race is going to be a 5-lap race on the controller. I believe the AI were, I think, around 100 or 102, I think, because obviously I'm not as quick as I am on a wheel with a controller. I will say in this gameplay, I do think you can definitely see a sense that the AI is a lot more racy in this year's game. They do go for the moves, not only on you as a player, but also themselves. So obviously being a 5-lap race, tyre wear is not going to matter too much here, but really just seeing how far we can get up the grid really, and just hoping to have some racing with the AI. And like I mentioned, there definitely was some good examples of the AI being a lot more racy. Also, I talked to Lee Mather. Apparently in this preview build, the AI were a little bit too good at the race start, so that's something that might be tweaked for the start of the game. I mean, I thought it was pretty okay, but you can see they definitely got completely mullered. Ferrari v Williams and a Sauber there at the very start. But now we're going down the inside then of 2 cars there, up into P18, down the inside of 2 more. You can see there though, I would have thought I could have actually minced that Williams car on the exit of traction and would have had him around the outside, but to my surprise he had that. And then up ahead Leclerc gets a bit of a tank slapper there because he was fighting with Sergio Perez, the Force India, and they actually made contact. So I thought straight away within half a lap, I was really impressed the fact that an AI could make a mistake overtaking another car like that and actually have some car-to-car contact where, you know, the AI has to step out of it and gets a bit of a tail that's a bit loose on their car. And then there also went down the inside of Sergio Perez, and I was expecting to get that move done on the outside, but to my surprise, Perez was able to out-traction me. And then you can see there, clearly, the Haas and the other Force India of Ocon go side by side. They slow each other up, so that helps me out. I just about squeezed through the 2 Force Indies there. You can see, though, Ocon still making me work hard in the brake zone. You can see the whole gaggle of cars up ahead really fighting hard. And straight away, look at that. The Haas now goes down the inside of Gasly, and Grosjean straight away attacks Pierre. I'm down the inside of both of them, and a big dive bomb there for me to go across, and we're up into now what is P11. Of course, in the Ferrari car, just like in real life, you expect the top 3 cars to just basically fly by these lower midfield cars because the difference is so big from the top 3, but I still had to work for it. And it was also, like I said, with the Haas, very surprising because I was too used in F1 2017 to the fact that AI just didn't really make too many moves on each other because of the whole higher downforce and the kind of dirtier in the corners and the lack of slipstream, I guess, on the F1 2017 game. You never really saw too many passes AI on AI unless it was like a DRS thing or it was in later seasons of career mode where one of the AI car has a really better engine because of their upgrades. But straight away on the base game here, on the preview build at least, on lap 1 and lap 2, you're about to see in the coming laps, AI going for moves in places where necessarily they might have not done in 2017, I feel. And also, if we move later on, you'll see that there's also some subtlety in the way the AI move from the racing line towards the inside. In 2017, they never really did that. It was all kind of on the racing line. But now they'll start to slowly drift across into the middle of the circuit as if they're trying to block you off to the inside line. And in some cases, if you're placing your car on the outside, they will fully commit then to the inside line to try and defend. So here we're just trying to catch up to Carlos Sainz, who's actually struggling to get past Stoffel Vandoorne and doing a good job defending. And just a note on the curbing, we talked about in previous videos, the curbs now have a 1000 hertz frequency in terms of the physics update. So there's a lot more feedback from every single surface on the curbings, which means on this year's game, I definitely felt it on the controller and also when I tried it out on the wheel. It's just so much more jarring. Like, certain curbs now will really give you a tough old time. You can't get on them too much. You can't abuse them as much as I feel you could definitely do in 2017. So something to think about for this year's game. And now look at that lovely little outside move there for Carlos Sainz right on the outside. Very unorthodox place and way to make a pass. But then Vandoorne comes back at him. Bit of contact made and Vandoorne's giving him a really good fight. And look at this. The two AI, just without even me being anywhere near them, are having a great scrap for a couple of corners. Really good to see. Vandoorne gets out of it though because he gets hit with some dirty air off Sainz. I open the DRS here. You can see there, Sainz literally started to move to the middle of the track. Made me really move to the inside quite forcefully. We make some contact. He's able to out-traction me on the outside there. We have to switch to the left-hand side. You can see I want to go to the inside here, but look how well he holds the racing line on the inside, forces me to go to the outside, and whilst I do that, he squeezed me towards the curbing, and I just about only make that on the second apex, on the left-hander, rather than the right. So I got that done eventually. Obviously, you would imagine the Ferrari can eventually get past the Renault within a lap or two, but Sainz really made me work for it, and that second fight that we had after turn 1, where he literally stayed the course on the right, made me go to the left, is something that we just didn't see in last year's game. If you're making a move on the outside on F1 2017, it's because you've decided to make that pass. Maybe you think it's better because it will turn to the inside of the next corner. But otherwise, you could technically just go down the inside for every single pass you make on F1 2017. Whereas now, on 2018, especially if you bump up the difficulty, you'll be probably pressed to actually be able to make that inside pass 10 out of 10 times. You'll more likely be almost kind of 6 out of 10 maybe, or half the time you can do that. And the other half, the AI are going to try and force you to the outside and actually defend their line quite well. So in this next part, we just kind of push on. And I'm trying to see if I can catch up to the next car there, which is Kevin Magnussen. But obviously, I've lost a lot of time fighting. And also, I was just kind of getting used to driving the game on a controller. Obviously, it's not my native way to play the game. There is going to be some wheel gameplay later on the channel, hopefully over the weekend, where I get some really nice battling with the AI on a wheel, which I was a bit more comfortable with. But even then, I was on a Fanatec setup in a play seat, which I'm not used to. I usually drive on a Thrustmaster on my desk, obviously with like a wheel stand. So it wasn't really one for one of how I could race at home on my actual setup. But nevertheless, it was a lot better of an indication of how the car moves about and how you can control it. But yeah, here we're just pushing around, and you can see here Carlos Sainz is actually closing up on us, to my surprise. I was fiddling around with the ERS, trying to get away from him, but at the same time trying to conserve enough for the end of the race. You can see they're moving up to high. Sainz actually goes for a little pop. Look at that. His proximity arrow went red there, which meant his nose was actually diving in to a potential move to the far chicane, which is something, again, you didn't really see too much of in last year's game. And again here, I had to go defensive to the inside because I was genuinely worried about Sainz diving on the outside maybe. So AI definitely pressing a lot more. But in the end, Sebastian Vettel won then at the Australian Grand Prix here, and the race flies by in a flash. You can see there on the right hand side, the new heads-up display shows not only the tyre temperature on the outside, but also the inside tyre carcass, which is new, as tyre heating for the longer races is going to be a lot more of an important factor for you to take into account this year.
win then for the Maranello team today. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
Well, I think the track conditions just really suited their car today. Wind, track temperature, you name it. These cars come alive when the tyres are just at the right temperature. So the more easily you can keep them there, the better your race tends to go. And that's exactly what happened. Their car just looks so comfortable out there.
And now it's time to wind down and celebrate after that fantastic Grand Prix. Here they come, your top three, out onto the podium.
So now I'm going to take a quick little look at some replay cameras here, just at the race start, but more so that fight with Carlos Sainz, just to showcase once again from a bit of a third-person angle of the AI kind of fighting, and actually also the AI battle that Carlos Sainz had with Van Dorn. So you can also see some of the dust kick up from the McLaren there. I think that will obviously still be kind of worked on in the final build, because that's a bit more constant in this replay camera, but you can see Van Dorn fighting back on the Renault so well on the inside there. He's still trying on the outside to the inside of the last corner. Then he gets tapped a little bit and loses some downforce with dirty air, and that's where we come in then. You can see there, Sainz subtly moves the middle of the track, forces me to go to the real right-hand side to try and make the pass, but look at the way he swoops around the outside, out-tractions me. I try to go to the left then here as we look down towards the next corner, and you can see he's held that racing line, so forces me to go to the right of your screen right now, to go on the outside of the right-hander, and actually I go a little bit deep, and he gives me a bit of a fight to the next apex, and we have to make sure we get that, leaving the room obviously, and then that was our fight, and you can see there that, you know, he put up a fight against a player, but then AI on AI battling was a lot better as well. You can see the two Red Bulls went side by side briefly there through turn one. The two Mercs were quite close together, nose to tail, and then a real good fight here was between the Haas of Romain Grosjean, and I think this was the Force India, I want to say Ocon, I think Ocon was the one ahead, so the two Frenchmen. Ocon actually makes a mistake, locks up there, so good to see just as a whole, the AI able to make mistakes like locking up there at the end of the Grand Prix. Perez then closes up, but look at that, Ocon comes back. The power of the Mercedes there around the outside has a look, but Grosjean defends really well. So good to see that yo-yoing effect back and forth, the AI fighting each other, and then Perez's teammate has a look, and then look, there, subtly, just a little thing, but Ocon moves and drifts towards the middle, tries to, one, maybe make a move down the inside of Grosjean, have a look there, but also cuts off Sergio Perez, making a move to the inside and forces Perez to the outside. And then you got Leclerc a little on board there just to show you off the Sauber Alfa Romeo. But that was the little replay camera look through the race, just some subtle little small glimpses of the AI racing. Like I said, there will be a wheel gameplay around the Belgium Grand Prix I'll be uploading soon that really showcases the AI fighting me quite hard around there. But we're going to move it into the interview section then, straight after the race.
What do you think went wrong? Do you have any comments about the collision?
So obviously I had a little bit of contact there with Carlos Sainz, so that's actually really good to see that the game basically remembered that. The fact that I got brought up on the little heads up, the stewards kind of said I had a collision with Carlos Sainz, you know, a warning, and the game's actually remembered that. And then the way I answered that boosted my department. That's something I didn't even know was a thing, but, you know, bringing morale of the different departments can be done directly through your interviews. So not only can you boost the showmanship or sportsmanship of your team, you can also boost, it seems, the morale of your different departments, depending on how you answer certain questions. So that was really, really good to see.
Great. Well, that's everything.
And so that's the interview. Just one small question in the race, of course. You know, a 5-lap race, not much was there to be really said. And also, I had a horrid race for Ferrari standards, so they couldn't really ask me any questions about winning the race or getting on the podium there. But a nice glimpse of the paddock then, and we move back into the post-race analysis. Obviously, myself v Sebastian, not yet chosen a rival, of course, but in this year's game, you can physically choose your own rival, and depending on the rival you choose, you can get more resource points for the rival you are picking. So let's say you choose a harder one, Lewis Hamilton, you'll get more resource points for that. If you pick someone easier, like Hulkenberg in the Renault, if you're in the Ferrari, that's going to be an easy one, so you'll get less resource points for that. And so going to Bahrain, of course, the upgrade was done, but that's pretty much going to be it in terms of the career mode preview, because it was a 2-hour event that I had yesterday morning, so I didn't have a lot of time. So this is going to be it for the career mode preview portion of F1 2018. I do have 2 complete other races that were done on the wheel that I'll be uploading later on the channel. So again, if you are new around here, be sure to get subscribed for more F1 2018 gameplay and seeing that really cool gameplay versus the AI. There was even a 3-wide moment at the Belgium Grand Prix, so really be on the lookout for that one, guys. But if you have enjoyed this one, hit that like button, let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.